Churches and cathedrals across the UK are ringing their bells as part of 70th anniversary commemorations of VE Day, the end of World War II in Europe. Bells began ringing at 11 o'clock BST on the second day of celebrations, and a 1940s-themed concert will be held later at London's Horse Guards Parade. Acts including Status Quo and Pixie Lott will perform at the event. On Friday, wreaths were laid at the Cenotaph and the Queen led a ceremony to light beacons across the UK. Other European and Commonwealth countries have also held VE Day events. Russia, which lost more citizens to the war than any other nation, is holding a victory parade in Moscow's Red Square. The US, Australia, Canada and most of the EU heads of state have declined to send a representative in protest at Russia's actions in Ukraine. Sir Nicholas Soames, a former defence minister and grandson of Winston Churchill, is the UK government's representative, but is not attending the parade. He will lay a wreath in Moscow and attend the official reception. Commemorations in Europe. In Britain, bells rang out in victory, signifying the end to years of conflict that saw church bells hanging silent. The Horse Guards Parade concert, which will be broadcast on BBC One from 20:30 BST, will feature musical acts performing wartime songs, and actors John Sim, Julia Sawalha, and Lawrence Fox will give readings. The Royal British Legion, which has worked with the government to prepare the commemorations, will also host a reception for 2,000 veterans. Hundreds of smaller community events have been planned across the country after schools and local authorities were encouraged to take part. Sporting events have been encouraged to organize 2 minutes of applause. Elsewhere, Jersey will celebrate the liberation of the Channel Islands, the only part of the British Isles occupied by the Germans during WW2. Wreath laying. On Friday the Queen, with the Duke of Edinburgh, greeted crowds gathered to watch the ceremony at Windsor Great Park, where she lit the first of hundreds of beacons on display across the UK. It commemorated an event on May 8, 1945, when people across the country lit hundreds of bonfires and beacons to celebrate the end of the war. More than 100 veterans and dignitaries also attended a ceremony at the Cenotaph, in London's Whitehall on Friday. At 1500 hours BST, the moment Prime Minister Winston Churchill broadcast the news of the German surrender to the nation, a 2-minute silence was held. Churchill's great-grandson Randolph Churchill also read an extract from the speech the wartime Prime Minister gave 70 years ago. On Sunday, the Queen is due to attend a service of thanksgiving at London's Westminster Abbey. Around 1,000 veterans and their families will join politicians, members of the armed forces and representatives of the Allied nations and Commonwealth countries that fought alongside Britain for the service. A parade of bands, veterans, and current servicemen and women will then make their way from the Abbey along Whitehall, past the balcony where Churchill made a historic speech before vast crowds, before a reception in St. James's Park. There will also be a flypast over central London by the Red Arrows, following a flyby of World War II aircraft, including the Lancaster bomber and Spitfire and Hurricane fighters.